keep getting overclubbed, jeez. So many feelings and I'm over breathing. Hang on. Let me just take a breather. That won't really happen. I'm not actually going to take a breather. I'm going to do some more comedy for you guys. So I've got to do the last set that I did for you guys during the first act a couple of times. This is brand new. I just wrote it this week. I hope you really enjoy it. Thanks, guys. So who here does weird shit for a living? Who does random shit for a living? Yeah? Yeah, okay. I guess, yeah. What do you do, man? Other than, like, preach it. What do you do? Yes, you.
I teach aerial fabric, I teach acro yoga, and I'm a man.
And you're, yeah, he has me beat, for sure. I do have an assortment, though. One of the things I do, I'm a massage therapist, and one of the best things about being a massage therapist is the music. But it's, I love that that's, like, you get that that's a fucked up joke. Like, it's awful. It's so awful. The music is really, actually, it is the best for one specific population. It's kind of a niche population. That population is, like, semi-retired, semi-professional figure skaters who then got really into Quaaludes, and they like to reminisce about their golden days on the ice. Right? Is that... That's what it sounds like to me. It's like Quaaludes. I've never done Quaaludes. They don't exist anymore, I'm told. Aside from making drug jokes that I don't actually understand, because I never actually have done Quaaludes, I also am a model, and I've done it for years. I've been photographed, I've been drawn, I've been painted, and it's kind of a super magical, weird thing to do for a living. And being drawn is totally different from being photographed, because you have to sit still for so long, and anytime you are bearing weight on any part of your body, it goes numb. And you know, you model for these people for years, some of them that I've worked with for years and years, and you get pretty comfortable, and you're just whatever. And I was at work the other day, and there had been this really long pose. I was like, go ahead, we'll hold for 30, it's fine. 30 minutes, I'm like leaning on my hand like an idiot. I should never have agreed to this. But I did, and my hand goes numb, and I'm just like pretty comfortable, I'm like, whatever. And all of a sudden I kind of wake up during the break, and I was like, oh my God, I'm giving myself this stranger in front of a group of almost strangers. I can't. So who here was psyched to have Tarantino in town? Who here is super psyched that Tarantino is gone? There it is. And did anybody see the Gary Busey guy that was in town? Did anybody see him? This is so cool. I was here after hours, and it was just like me and this other girl who was bartending, and he stayed and talked to us, and it was so awesome. We were like, oh my God, Gary Busey's here, it's so cool. And then it was really cool until I realized that he wasn't Gary Busey. I was like, fuck, it's just another rando with crazy eyes. Jesus. But it's great. Telluride, that's why Telluride is great. Because crazy things like that can and do happen all the time. You know, we have celebrity sightings, we had a feature film shot here, and we have our own things that kind of perplex me, like the overabundance of jam and funk and reggae bands. Thank you! I'm really glad this is a cheering crowd rather than like, hey man, I really like funk. And I was like, totally, I get it. But the question I have for this population of people that just keep coming to Telluride and playing this shit is like, I couldn't dance to you at the start of your set. What makes you think that I'll be able to 6 hours in during your third fucking song? What is that? Never. The other thing that's special about Telluride is we have our own social norms. Like, we can wear anything that we want. Right? There are days that I wake up, there are days that I wake up and I'm like, I just can't do this. I just can't. I cannot handle pants today. And then I call my friends and I'm like, hey, do you want to not wear pants too? And then we'll invite a bunch of people to watch us not wear pants. And then this event got born. Thanks, Jen.
Credits for pants.
So there are days too where I let my inner 5-year-old pick the wardrobe for the day. And it's just like all the textures, like satin and and stripes and fucked up hair and stars and the polka dots, and I walk around town looking like a fucking optical illusion. And I cheered for that, like, nice texture. But I've always been that way. Like, I've always made like really fashion-forward choices. Even since I was a little kid, my parents were amazing. They were hippies, and they raised me in this hippie church. And they let me wear pretty much anything that I wanted. And there was this, one of my favorite choices was this t-shirt. It was a merch shirt that was sold by this consciousness rock star who was touring the country, and he came to our hippie church. And for some reason, it was only sold in extra large. And I was like, I gotta have this, Mom. And it reads, "Don't judge me, I'm different." And as a third grader, more than once, I elected to wear that little number as a little dress with a rainbow belt to show off my waistline. Fancy. So I still think about that shirt though, and that tagline, like, "Don't judge me, I'm different." Like, and I hear people say that, like, "I don't judge, man. Like, it's cool, no judgment." I'm like, man, I wish I were that cool. Like, I wish that I could agree with that and be like, I know, me neither. I don't judge people either. But I know that's fucking a lie. Like, that is so not true. I judge people all the time, and I know better, and I will admit it. But know that if I'm judging you, it is on completely nonsensical criteria. For example, the other day, I was walking through the village, and I smile at this tight-lipped man who's carrying a brand new coffee pot, and he didn't return the smile. And my first thought was, well, I can tell you're not very good at sex. The only time you might be good at sex is if you are angry fucking, and I know I'm right. I also, when I go to open mics, I catch myself assessing the sexual prowess of guitar players. And do I go home and have sex with them and see how they perform in bed? No. Am I paying a pretty healthy amount of attention to their finger-plucking technique and rhythm maintenance? Yes. Yes, I am. When I see a man with long fingernails, I have several questions. Do you have a coke problem, or do you just not want to fucking date? What are you doing? What is that? Like some kind of a fucking weird pap smear? What are you doing? What do you think is gonna happen? But they say, I've read this study that first impressions and judgments are based primarily on body language, right? Only like 10% of the impression that you give off is based on your words, like what you actually say. And I would agree with that, except for if you say really, really weird shit in intimate settings. Like the weirdest thing that I've ever said to anybody in bed was this: I can see who you were in past lives. Your face keeps morphing. And he didn't even stop. Like, I didn't know that was weird for years. The strangest thing that anybody's ever said to me during sex was when this gentleman, much more recently, a different one, he did stop and he said, "Marissa, that is the most OCD thing I've ever heard in my entire life." And no, you guys don't have to worry about it. I will say that has to do with nipple erectile tissue and symmetry. Imagination, is it working? But the thing is, the truth here is that I love weird shit. Like, I love when people say weird things to me. I kind of collect them. Like, I was dating this guy, he was on the road a lot. And so we talked on the phone a lot, and he calls me from outside of a bar one night. And he goes, "Baby, I love you so much. Like, this is how much I love you. I love you so much, it makes me crazy. I have a midget sure thing waiting for me in the bar. All I want to do is talk with you." I said, "Oh, you're so nice." But I did keep talking to him, like a weirdo. And he called me a different night, and I didn't know where he was, and it was pretty late. I thought he was at home. And the entire transmission that I hear from his end of the line was, "Marissa, you're so pretty." And he's like, "Marissa, you're so pretty. I just can't believe, like, there's poetry that I can write, just word upon word of poetry that I can write about how pretty your eyes are. Your eyes are just so mesmerizing. Can I take your order?" He was calling me and telling me the shit from the drive-thru, like 2 in the morning. God, what the fuck is that? And I was like, "Nice. thank you. But even when it's really sincere, like even when the compliments are really sincere, I'm horrible at taking compliments. Like I have had to train myself to say, oh, thank you, like, that's so nice, I'm so flattered. Because really on the inside I'm going, why are you, I'm not really, why are you saying that to me? What do you want from me? Which is crazy, like I'm just that kind of paranoid, but I'm terrible at it. And I think it's a skill that we all have to learn. You know, like it's really important to learn how to take compliments because I think that they do nourish us. And plus it's super weird when you pay a compliment and it just doesn't land. You know, and you're just like, oh, thank you. And it just comes off weird. Like, I was seeing this guy for a little bit and we were in bed one morning and he has these like beautiful freckles on his shoulders. And I was like, I love those freckles on your shoulders. And he looked at me like this. Like I'd given him a spoonful of poop or something. Like it's just horrifying. I didn't tell him I was gonna skin him and make a coat out of the freckles. I just said I liked them. Take a fucking compliment. Jesus. And for fuck's sake, learn how to gracefully decline unwanted attention. I learned that little ditty by failure a year or two ago. There was a new friend of mine. He became a very, very dear friend of mine. Thank God, he's awesome. But I didn't know him well, and he was like, hey, you want to go to the hot springs? And I was like, yeah, totally. So we went, and we spent a couple hours chatting. My throat was so dry. Why did my throat hurt so bad? So we spent a couple hours chatting, and we're just about to leave. And we get in the car, and before he backs up and starts to pull away, he's like, listen, I have something else. Marissa, stop me if you're gonna, but I'm gonna kiss you now. And I was completely taken aback. You know, I had so many options in my repertoire that I couldn't see, and like I could have just let him kiss me, but I for whatever reason, I wasn't attracted to this wonderful human. I was completely taken off guard, so I didn't know what to do. And in hindsight, I've analyzed this moment for every day since. I see other girls and they just know how to do it. It's just this graceful like turn of the head, or they can laugh it off, or they say, no, thank you, I'm really not available for that, I'm so sorry, but I just can't. And I wish that I had thought of anything, because when my dear friend looked at me with all the warmth in the world in his eyes and he said, Marissa, stop me if you're gonna, but I'm gonna kiss you now. Any response would have been better than the one that I gave, which was a very panicked, oh God, no! Who does that? I was horrified. And after the mortification stopped smothering both of us, for two completely different sets of reasons, we could both breathe again, I said, I'm so sorry. I did not intend to impart such repugnance. When I said that, I was perfect and graceful in that moment. Like I said brilliant things, SAT words, but could not say anything other than, oh God, no, to a stranger in a car who's being very nice to me. I said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just didn't want to lead you on. That would be the wrong thing to do. I'm so sorry. Listen, you will thank me for this. And you know what, guys? He did thank me. Thank you guys so much for coming.